Coming up, comebacks from the Giants, Mets, and Cubs highlight the day. This is Locked On Now MLB.
The biggest games, the best performances, expert analysis. You are Locked On Now.
Welcome in. You're listening to Locked On Now MLB, local experts weighing in on the biggest stories in baseball. I'm your host, Kainani Stevens. Thank you for making Locked On Now your first listen every single weekday. We've got our Locked On MLB hosts here. They are ready to recap everything for you from yesterday. The New York Yankees showed just how big the gap is between the best and worst teams in baseball in yesterday's best performance.
The best performance.
Hold up.
The Yankees made up for losing their series opener against the Pirates in a big way on Wednesday. New York put up a 16-0 final score in Pittsburgh, and Locked On Yankees takes you through the dominance yesterday.
This is Stacey Gotsoulias of Locked On Yankees, and the Yankees bit the Pirates. Bit the Pirates? Well, kind of. They beat them 16-0. They scored 16 runs on 22 hits, including a bunch of home runs. Josh Donaldson, Joey Gallo, Kyle Higashioka, Aaron Judge hit his 30th, happened to be a grand slam. Aaron Hicks hit a grand slam. Giancarlo Stanton, not a grand slam, but it's 21st home run. And the Yankees were 7 for 18. With runners in scoring position, they still left 12 on base. So it could have been worse for the Pirates. As for their pitching, Luis Severino gave up 4 hits in 6 innings, and that was it for the Pirates. Wandy Peralta, Aroldis Chapman, and Albert Abreu combined for 3 scoreless and hitless innings to shut them down. Up next for the Yankees, 4 games in Fenway. So we'll have a preview of that series, and we'll have a review, recap of this series on the next Locked On Yankees. So tune in.
The Orioles and Rangers are at very different points in their season. The Orioles celebrating a season-high 4 straight wins after taking down Texas yesterday, while the Rangers have hit what our Locked On Rangers host calls the worst point the team has seen all year, with another loss to Baltimore. Locked On Rangers and Locked On Orioles have more on a surprising Orioles sweep.
Baseball is a stupid sport, and I am even stupider for liking it, and even more stupider for liking this stupid baseball team. That's right, I have been made into a complete idiot by watching this Rangers team get swept in 3 one-run games against the dang Orioles, who don't even want to win. They don't even want to win. You score 1 measly run, and the only runs that the Orioles score are on a stupid throwing error by Corey Seager that should have been charged to Nathaniel Lowe, possibly the worst defensive first baseman in the history of baseball of all time. This is the most frustrating and stupid and infuriating series I have ever seen this garbage team play in my 28 years on this godforsaken planet. A 2-1 loss. Glenn Otto didn't even do badly. He didn't even do badly. The rest of the Rangers bullpen shut them out, but this Rangers offense couldn't do anything because for some stupid reason they have Brad Miller and Charlie Culberson in there in the same game, and none of them do jack diddly squat. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And the cruelest part of the many cruel things in this horrific, horrible series is that Brad Miller was about 5 feet away from hitting the go-ahead home run in the 9th inning. And instead, it's a foul ball. He strikes out on a pitch 18 light years outside of the strike zone. I am so done with this team. I hate baseball. I am so glad there's an off day tomorrow because I don't think I could watch this team for another second.
Well, I think we've got 3 things to discuss here. Number 1, first Orioles sweep of the season. They beat the Rangers 2-1 to sweep the 3-game series. They have tied their season-long win streak at 4. It's their first sweep since July of 2021 when they swept the Washington Nationals into selling at the deadline. Number 2, Spencer Watkins. 6 2/3 1 run from Spencer Watkins. He was just tossing curveballs into the strike zone and getting pop-outs. I'll take that every day from Spencer Watkins when you don't have John Means and Grayson Rodriguez. Give me that every time, Spencer Watkins. And the third thing, Jorge Lopez is kinda back. He gets the save to close out the sweep. Was he 3 feet away from giving up another home run, which would be 4 straight appearances with a homer and 4 straight blown saves? Yeah, he was 5 feet away from that. But it was foul. He strikes out Brad Miller, and the Orioles win it. And I'll recap it all coming up on Thursday's episode of the Locked On Orioles podcast.
The Dodgers allowed just one hit to the Rockies, but that doesn't mean it wasn't close for the LA fans, as the Dodgers also won by just 1 run. Locked On Dodgers is just happy to get a win considering their troubles against the Rockies so far this season.
Well, as my old pappy used to say, just good enough is better than not quite good enough. What's up? It's Jeff from Locked On Dodgers. The Dodgers beat the Rockies 2-1 to sweep the series. This time they did it behind outstanding pitching. Mitch White allowed just 1 hit and 1 unearned run in 5 2/3 innings. Great relief pitching from David Price, Yency Almonte, and Craig Kimbrell. Kimbrell got the win after a 1-2-3 top of the 9th inning. And then in the bottom of the 9th inning, Mookie Betts came up with bases loaded and no outs after hits from Cody Bellinger and Gavin Lux and a walk to Will Smith. Mookie came up with bases loaded and nobody out, and despite what you may have heard on the internet, the Dodgers have been the 6th best team in baseball this year with bases loaded and nobody out. The internet would have you believe they've been terrible. They have not. They've been very good, and Mookie continues that with an infield single to score the winning run, actually the first RBI of the game, because the Rockies' only run scored on a throwing error by Cody Bellinger. The Dodgers' first run scored on a wild pitch. And so this was the first time anybody drove in a run in the game, and it was hit very softly, but just to the right place for Mookie Betts to get the game-winning RBI. Dodgers walk it off and sweep the series with the Padres idle. That puts the Dodgers up by 6 games on the Padres heading into this weekend 4-game series with the Cubs. So be sure to make Locked On Dodgers your first listen first thing in the morning, and Vince and I will have all of this about this game for you. So check us out.
The Giants scored 5 runs in their final 2 at-bats to end their losing streak at 6 games and beat the Diamondbacks. Locked On Giants tells you how San Fran snapped the cold spell to stay above 500.
Torture in the bottom of the 9th, but the Giants pull it off. They end the long losing streak. They avoid falling back to 500. Ben Kaspick with the Locked On Giants podcast. It was not easy. The Giants fell behind 4-0. They have been playing terrible baseball for a couple of weeks straight, and they looked like they were on their way to another loss. But Joey Bart, just up today, hit a big, what turned out to be double. It was originally called a home run. Darren Ruff with a pinch hit 2-run homer that tied the game. The Giants' first pinch hit home run of the season, which is unbelievable given they had a Major League record 18 last year. They only have 1 this year through about half the season. Austin Slater with a big hit, I think, in the top of the 9th inning. Camilo Doval made it way too interesting in the bottom of the 9th. D-backs had the winning run on first base, tying run on second base, bases loaded, and Sam Long came in and just 3 pitches struck out a lefty killer, Jordan Luplow. So, man, it was stressful. Man, it wasn't easy. Man, did the Giants need that win, and they got it done. Hey, 2 games over 500. Believe they're 1 game out of a playoff spot. So, baseball's a crazy game. It's a long season. You never know. And we'll talk about it on tomorrow's Locked On Giants, where it's your team every day.
Coming up, the Rays beat up on the Red Sox rookie, and Shohei Ohtani does a little bit of everything once again. This is Locked On Now MLB. Today's edition of Locked On Now is brought to you by Bet Online, the #1 spot for all of your online sports gambling needs. You can head over there to check out the action on MMA, MLB, boxing, golf, whatever you're interested in. Just head over to betonline.net. Welcome back to Locked On Now MLB. I'm Kainani Stevens. Thank you for making Locked On Now your first listen every single weekday. Let's continue our look around the league.
Let's go around the league.
The Tampa Bay Rays put a former Cy Young winner on the mound on Wednesday to face off against a Red Sox pitcher making his first major league start, and it went just about as well as you would expect it to. The Rays tagged 9 runs on a Red Sox team that couldn't string any hits together all day, and our Locked On hosts from both sides go over the final at Fenway.
And just like that, the Rays make Fenway Park Tropicana North. I'm Ulysses Serrano, host of the Locked On Rays podcast. Well, the Rays go into Fenway, lose the first game, and then start getting the bats hot and win the next 2 games in amazing fashion. The Rays take the series. The bats are awake. That's nice to see because the offense has been in a slumber. Big game by Josh Lowe with 2 doubles. Randy Arozarena gets a home run late in the game. But of course, the story really is Corey Kluber with 6 innings of shutout baseball, only allowing 3 hits and no walks. So that's what needs to happen for the rest of this year. Good pitching needs to remain good pitching, and then the offense needs to wake up. For this and much more analysis, please stay tuned to Locked On Rays, your team every day.
The Red Sox continue to struggle against AL East teams, especially when it comes to trying to win a series against one. Hey, it's Lauren from Locked On Red Sox, and Wednesday just wasn't Boston's day. It was Brian Bayo's highly anticipated MLB debut. Certainly could have gone better. Don't put too much stock into someone's first major league start. He did get through 4 innings, but the pitching as a whole in Wednesday's game just too many walks, and the pitching of late has given up way too many walks, and the offense, reminiscent of April, just could not get anything going. Runners in scoring position, it was dead silent. I will break all of this down for you and also look at Chris Sale's Worcester Red Sox start, which also could have gone better. We're just going to throw the whole Wednesday away, start fresh on Thursday, and I will do that with 2 episodes of Locked On Red Sox, one recapping the game, and then a special crossover with Paul Francis Sullivan, just call him Sully, of Locked On MLB. We'll see you Thursday for 2 episodes of Locked On Red Sox.
The Royals ending the Astros winning streak at 8 games after Houston starter Christian Javier allowed 3 Kansas City home runs. Locked On Astros tells you how somebody finally took down the hottest team in baseball.
3 games in a row. That's what Astros starting pitchers did. They allowed 5 runs in 3 games in a row. And unfortunately, the Astros offense weren't able to make that comeback that they've done in the previous 2 games. And the Astros drop the 3rd game of the series to the Royals 7-4. And even though they tried to chip away at the lead, unfortunately, Christian Javier gave up 3 home runs. He allowed 4 hits and 3 walks, but it was just too much. And then Hector Neris gave up 2 runs in the 9th inning. And so the Astros just weren't able to have the late inning magic that we've seen in the previous 2 games. But go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. We got you covered, even in wins, losses, wherever. We're your team every day.
Shohei Ohtani doing it again yesterday with another stellar performance on the mound and 2 RBIs at the plate. Locked On Angels was ready to recrown the reigning MVP after carrying LA to another win.
But if we added 2 and then divided by 4 and then skipped a day and then added a day and then it was every 6 days. Oh, hey, what's up, everybody? My name's Mike Frisch, one half of Locked On Angels. I was just trying to figure out how the Angels could get Shohei Ohtani to pitch every single game, because that seems to be the only way that we can get a victory. And on Wednesday night, the Angels got a victory. Shohei was on the mound. He went 7 innings, gave up 1 unearned run, and struck out 10. Looked magnificent and led the Angels to a 5-2 victory. And not only did he dominate on the mound, but he dominated at the plate. We were looking to go ahead, we being the Angels, and Shohei, with the bases loaded, hits an opposite field single past the shift, and it was incredible. It was just everything that you would want in a player, everything that you would want in Shohei Ohtani. And he led us to victory. He's now 8-4 on the season. He lowered his ERA to 2.44. What can I say? He's a unicorn. And John and I are going to talk about it on Locked On Angels, and we hope you'll join us.
That's all for today on Locked On Now MLB. Thank you for making Locked On Now your first listen every single weekday. Make sure you go and check out Locked On MLB and your team's Locked On podcast. I'm Kainani Stevens. This has been Locked On Now.